Let's turn it on. Button. That's for the first time I turned it on. So what can you do with this calculator? With this calculator, you can do all basic calculation. So you can do statistical calculation, you can do distribution, we can do polynomials such as quadratic, cubic, and quartic up to degree 4 calculation, simultaneous equation or system of equation. You can generate table of value of two functions f of x and g of x, full spreadsheet where you can use formula and calculation in your spreadsheet. We can do inequality calculation, we can do full complex calculation, we can do base calculation like binary, decimal, hexadecimal conversion with some basic digital calculations. We can do ratio calculation, we can do also vector calculation, we can do matrix such as adding, subtracting, squaring, matrix inverse and matrix determinant, and many other features. So it has something called math box where you can do rolling 1, 2 or 3 dice or flipping 1 or 2 or 3 coins. Hi, welcome to a video tutorial from Equaser. My name is Ahmed Shamshiri, a Persian from Khorasan. This is a full manual for Casio fx-991CW and Casio fx-570CW. This is a CLASSWIZ calculator. The difference between fx-991 and 570 is that 991 has this solar cell, otherwise they are exactly the same. This is a full manual that covers everything, so please select chapters after you watch this video fully. A larger screen, click on this area of the player. You will see the menu when you touch it, so you can see all the chapters and touch to move to that section of the video. So enjoy and subscribe. So this is a calculator, very sleek design, a special texture on this side. The cases, so you can just put it here and start using it. This side is shorter and this has extra piece, so you can remove it and put it the same way. To turn on the calculator, we press this button here. To cover it off, we press the shift key and AC. This AC is all clear. We press it and the calculator will be turned off. We can set the timing for the calculator to be turned off either at 10 minutes or 60 minutes, which we are going to learn next. Let's power on the calculator back. And in order to be in the same screen, let's reset or initialize the calculator by pressing this button here and then go down once, twice. You will see the reset and then press OK. After that, go down once, twice, initialize all, OK, and then on yes also, OK, and after that press EXE. This is very important that we have to press EXE to exit from this screen. Now our calculator has the same settings. For the keys, we have this up and down arrow key, which you can go up, for example, right, down or left by pressing the key, which we are going to see. And then we have the OK button here. OK is very important key, and then we have the page up, page down, because sometimes on the screen you need to scroll so much with up and down. This is very quick. This is called page up, page down, so you can do that. And also we have EXE and OK. These two are, in most cases, they are exactly the same. When we say execute is equal OK, so pay attention, but sometimes you will see that it will not does the same thing. Now if you want to print pi is the second function of this 7 here. If you pay attention, pi is here, so you press shift and 7 to get pi. And when you press shift, you will see this on the screen, the S on the screen. You see that S, and all the keys that are operating with shift, they are all yellow. And if I press shift and 5, we will see B on the screen. Example, this is square root of something, but if I press shift, it will be logarithm. This key is 4, but if I press shift and press 4, it will be A. See this on the screen, it means we are in math mode, math in, math out mode, which you will see 1 over 200, for example. You can type it like that. And then if you see the same thing, it can be math in, decimal out, which the result will be displayed this way or that way. But keep in mind that this is very important sign on the screen. If your calculator shows D, it means the unit is degree. It could be Gradian and Radian. If you see fix, it means we have set it to fix 3 decimal places, for example, or any other value, but it will help you to understand. If you see E, it means it's working with engineering. If you see this I, an angle, it is a complex result of your calculation. If this sign is on, it means there is enough light and the solar power is activated on 991CW. In 57CW, there is no solar cell. And if you see these 2 arrows, it means we have more result. We can go up and down. And now let's see the apps. If we press home key, then we have all these apps. For example, general calculator, calculation, statistical calculation, distribution, spreadsheet, generate table of value for f of x or g of x, and then inequality, complex, base number such as binary, decimal, hexadecimal, or octal, and then we can generate some table of value for functions. You can do quadratic, cubic, quartic, and system of equation, calculation finding roots, and then we can do matrix calculation here. As this is the matrix for matrix determinant, matrix inverse, addition, subtraction, vector calculation, finding angles and adding, subtracting, ratio calculation, and then math box such as coin toss or dice roll. And then for the menu, if I press this settings, you will see we can select calculator setting. If I select input output, then we can see all these options. For example, we can have math in, math out is already selected. Press OK and then all clear. So we exit it. Now if we do 1 divided by 200, the answer will be displayed like that. Do not worry. But if we go again to settings, calculator settings, and then input output, this time if we go to math in, decimal out, and then press OK and then all clear. Now let's do 1 divided by 200 and equal. You will see that the answer shows like this. That's also another reason which I'm going to soon explain it. But first, let's see how can you set the brightness of your calculator. So press home and then make sure you're in this mode, and then system settings, come here, settings, and then contrast. You see we see both dark, so we see dark and bright, and the 2 arrows are here, so you can make it lighter as you can see, and you can make it darker if you want. Once you're done, press all clear to exit the calculator. Contrasts have been set. If the calculator setting cannot change, it means you need to change the battery. Let's reset it again. Go to reset, initialize all, yes, and then exe. This is very important to understand it. We go to calculator setting, number format and normal, calculator setting, number format, and then go to normal, and in here let's select normal 1, OK, and then all clear. Now that one depends on if we go to calculator setting and then input output, and this time let's select line in, line out, and then all clear. So here This is very important to pay attention. If you are in normal 1, then only the value that are less than this value, 0.01, which also is 10 to the power minus 2, it will be displayed as a decimal. Otherwise, it will be shown as exponential. And of course, the absolute value of x is if it is greater than 10 to the power 10, it will be shown as exponential. Like this, for example, if you have 1 divided by 4, it will be shown as 0.02 because it's greater than this value. And if you have 1 divided by 200, because the answer will be smaller than this, it will be shown like 5 times 10 to the power minus 3. But if you have 1 divided by 6, because it is greater than this value, it shows as a decimal. Now, if you go in normal 2, then the absolute value of x, if it is smaller than, less than 10 to the power minus 9 or greater than 10 to the power 10, it will be shown as a decimal. Because this is minus 2 means you can display up to this value, 0.00, with total zeros are 9, so you can get decimal. This is what you should set your calculator to in normal 2 mode. Now we can set the, if you press calculator setting, select calculator setting, and then angle unit. From here you can go up and down and select degree, radian, and gradian. And as you can see, we have this radio buttons where you can select whichever you want to select, and then press OK, and after that all clear. You will see it has changed to radian. And then if you go to format number, again settings, calculator settings, number format, and then if we select fix, and in this screen we see fx-3. Let's select fx-3, and then all clear to exit. And now in fx-3, if we do 1 divided by 6, the answer will be with fixed 3 decimal places. And if we go to scientific, go to settings, calculator setting, number format, and then this is called scientific notation. And if we select scientific notation with 3 decimal places, 3 significant digits, and then press all clear, 1 divided by 6 will be displayed like that. 3 significant digits here. And if you go to calculator settings and then engineering symbol, and if you turn it on, now it was off, and then all clear to exit, 1 divided by 4 will shown as 250 milli, because that is 250 milli. Or if you do 1 divided by 2000, this time it will be 500 micro. So very useful. Now let's turn it off. Go to settings, engineering symbol, and turn it off. All clear. Exit 1 divided by 4. It will return back to normal, and this depends on norm 1 or norm 2 that you have. Calculator settings, reset, initialize, yes, exe. Now let's see how we can enter this value. We press 4 and then this button here, and then the cursor move down, 5 with the arrow go to the right, and then plus, because we are entering this value, and then 3 fraction, we go down 2, and then here exe, and the answer is displayed like that. Settings, calculator setting, come down to fraction result. We will see these 2 options, mixed and improper. Let's select improper, and then all clear. Now let's do this. 5 divided by 4, go to the arrow, plus 3 divided by 2, and then press equal sign. You will see the answer like that. Now we can change it back to mixed fraction. Go to calculator setting, fraction result, and then mixed and all clear. If we go to calculator setting, we can set the complex result settings, calculator setting, complex result, and here we can see that we can get a rectangular format or polar format, whichever you prefer. From here you can change it and the answer will be presented in that. I'm going with a rectangle, and we can also set the decimal mark. Go to settings and decimal mark. Here you can set dot or comma depending. If I select comma, also if I do 1 divided by 6, we will see comma like this, but I prefer dot, so I can go back, calculator setting, decimal mark, dot, all clear, and now if I press equal sign, it changed to dot. Now if we go to calculator settings and then come down until you see digit separator, okay, you will see on and off. If you select it on, right now it's off, and then all clear. Now you can say, let's say you want to all clear 332 567. If I press equal sign, you see there is a space, and if you don't want a space, just go and disable it. That's what I'm gonna do. I can go jump with this digit separator off, all clear, and if I press equal sign, it got closer back. Now let's go to power off. It's under the system settings, go down system settings, and then auto power on or off. You can select 10 or 60, whichever you prefer, and at that time it will turn off. And then we have multi-setting. Under settings, multi-font, multi-line font setting. Press button, go to this, and then multi-line font. And in here you can see normal and small. If you select it, if you select small and equal, this will work when you use line mode. In line mode, then it will work. So let me change it. Let me change it to line mode. So go to calculator setting and then select line mode, and then all clear. 1 divided by 6, you see it became very small, but it allows you to see multiple lines. So you see we can see even 3 lines with all the answers. Let's go to catalog. This is the catalog button, and let's initialize the calculator. So go reset, initialize all, yes, exe. So we are on the same setting. So we have, if I press this, we will see we have function and analytics, and then we have probability, numerical calculation, hyperbolic calculation, hyperbolic, angle and coordinates, and then if I come here, engineering and scientific constants, unit conversion, and others. So all these features, when we select them, they will be activated, which I'm going to explain all of them with examples. And then we have tools. If I all clear, if I press this button, that's my tool. And this now shows undo, and depending on the app that you select, it will change. For example, if I go to this, go to home and select table, you will see this. Now if I press this, you will see the options. That's why this tool depends on the app. So I'm pressing home and then go to normal calculation. If you want to do 2 times 50 divided by 2, 2 times open parenthesis 50 divided by 2, these are the 2 parentheses, and then equal. If you want to print 2 pi, so we print 2, shift, and then 7, which is pi, and then exe, so we get 2 pi. If you want to do something like this, you can omit this multiplication and this one. So just press 3, open parenthesis, 50 divided by 2, and then press equal. So you can skip this closing parenthesis and multiplication, and it will work fine. And if you want to do, for example, this line like that, you can do 4 times sine, 4 times, for example, sine, the opening is already there, just 30, close it, multiply by 3 plus 10 times 5, 3 plus 10 times 5, close, and then exe, you got the result. But you can do it like that, skipping this multiplication, and this closing. And let me show you, 4 sine 30, close it, open another parenthesis, 3 plus 10 times 5, and you get the same answer. And if you want to change from 30 to 45, so here is how you do. Just press this button, come here, the cursor is there, just and press this button and then type 45 and then equal. So you can simply change it at the same value. And if you want to change, let's say 4 to 14, in that case, we press this button. So we press this button, the cursor goes there, and then press this key, it goes at the beginning, at the end, and then just add 1 and exe, and you simply changed it. And let's say if you want to do 6 divided by 2, 1 plus 2, and if I press equal sign, you will see that it adds extra parenthesis for me. And if you do 6 divided by 2 pi, 6 divided by 2, and then pi, you will see that it has changed it to this format by adding the parenthesis, so that's autocomplete. Now let's see how we can do this one. To do that, we press shift and then this key. After that, we type 3, and then with the arrow go to the right, and 1, come down, 2, and go to the right, plus. After plus, we press shift, this button, so it gives us the space, 5, go to the right, 3, and then divided by 2, and then exe, so we get the answer. If you want to do 2 plus minus 5, we do 2 plus, this is the minus with shift, so shift and minus 5, exe, execute, press equal sign, and you get the answer. Let's say you have something like this and you want to write it like that. For that, let's do all clear, 1 plus 7 over. Now in this case, six. So we go with the arrow once, twice. The arrow moves in here, and then we have to press insert. Press shift, insert. Insert is this key here. The arrow has changed, and then we can press square root, and everything will be under the square root, and then equal, and that's the answer. And if you have something like this and you want to change it and remove the square root, here is how you do it. Just press backspace, and then press delete, that will be deleted, and then equal sign, and that will be the answer. Override. Now let's see if we enter this one, 4/5, come to the right, plus 3/2, execute. That's the answer because we are in math in, math out. But if you go to line in, line in, line out, press settings, calculator, input, and go to line in, line out, exit. Now you can, if you do this, the answer will be displayed like that. So 4/5, you see it's displayed like that, plus 3/2, and the answer will be displayed like that. And the same way, line in, line out, we can have 1/1, that's a mixed fraction. Let's say 1, and then 1/1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, equal. And now let's reset our calculator. So we are on the same page. Now let's see how we can do the something 2 to the power 5 plus 4 to the power 2. So 2, that is to the power of anything that you want. Press it, type 5. Then now we have to come to the right, and then plus 4. Because this is now squared, for the square we have a dedicated button here. Immediately press equal sign and you get the answer. If you want to do cube root of 5 squared, open the parenthesis, 5 squared, and then close it, this button, cubed, and then press equal sign. If you want to do something like this, 3 plus 2 to the power of this, so all clear, 3 plus 2, and then to the power. At the top now you can 2 plus, for example, 4, and then equal. If you want to do something like that, open a parenthesis, 2, and then it's very important that you press this to get out of the square root, and then plus 2, otherwise it will go underneath it. Close, and then multiply by, and then you don't need to put multiply, just put square root and 3, execute, and that's the answer. Now if you want to do fifth root of something, we have to use this button here with a shift. All clear. Now I'm pressing shift, square root. Now I can enter 5, and then with the arrow 32, and then equal, and that's the answer. If you want to do 5 to the power minus 5, shift this button, and that is inverted for us. If you want to do something like 1 times 10 to the power, if you want to do some number times 10 to the power, let's say 3, so you put 1 and then decimal, so 1.23, and times 10 is here already, so we press this times 3, times 10, and automatically it goes to the top, so we can type 3 and exe, and that is the answer. Some other symbols you can enter. These are the values that you can enter. The value cannot be out of these ranges. For example, in this case, h should be less than 100 and greater than 1. So these are the limitations that you see. Now let's see power and root. Let's do this one. 10 square root of 2, and then plus 15 times 3 and square root of 3. So the answer is very nice. We enter 999 square root of 9,000. You will not get the square root sign because this is above the range. Now For pi, let's say we want to put 4 pi. To type 4 pi, press shift and 7. That's pi. And if you want to put Euler number, shift and 8, that is the Euler number. If I press equal, you get the number. Let's see how we can look at the calculation history. I already have done, let's say 2 plus 2 equal, and then 3 plus 3 equal, and then let's say sine of 18 equal. Now if I press up and down arrow key, you can see the result, and also it shows this arrow that we have more. Now we don't have anything because the calculator was restarted. So this way you can go to the calculator history. This screen, go down here, press it again, and you will have new result here, because if I come down there is nothing, and see 3 plus 3 was before it, and sine, and then after that, because we replayed it. Now let's see if I divide 1 divided by 6, press equal, it's shown like that. But if you want to change it, you can press the format button, which is at the bottom I shown you. Just press format and then select decimal, and you will see the decimal value. And if you want to go back to mixed fraction, for example, format, mixed fraction, it will show like that. Let's say pi divided by 6. Let's do shift pi divided by 6 equal. It's shown like that, but proper pi over 6. But we can select format, decimal, and you will see the decimal value. If we press equal sign again, it will bring it back. Let's say 5.5 equal sign is shown like that, but you can see mixed fraction, format, you will see it like that. And if I press equal sign again, it will change. Now let's see how we can do prime factorization. Prime factorization should be always positive, and it should be less than 10 digits. Let's say you want to do prime factorization of 1014 exe, and then press format, the format button, I've shown it. Then select here prime factor, and it will be factors for you. Let's type 2, 3, 4, 5, press equal. After that, format, and then come here, select engineering notation, and then press equal. You will see it like this. But pay attention that we have these two arrows, which means if I go to the left, the number of significant digits will change, and you will see this is now to the power 3. Now the same number can be represented this way by the power 6 or 9 or even 12, or you can go also this way, and it shows that you cannot do that. So with this also you can play. All clear? And also to exit from that, press this button. You can exit as well with the return key. Now let's see how we can do sexagesimal or degree, minute, second calculation. Let's say 1.25 and then press equal, and you want to convert it to sexagesimal. Press format and then come down until you see sexagesimal, and it has been converted to 1 degree, 15 minutes and 0 seconds. And let's say we want to enter 2 degree, 50 minutes and 30 seconds. So here is how we do it. 2, shift, and degree. Degree is this. Degree, minute, and second is this plus sign. Press this. I press shift and then this plus sign, and then 50, shift, plus sign. Now don't worry about it. 30, so 50 degrees second, and then press exe. It says syntax error. Let's say all clear, and then here we have to also press shift and then symbol. Now press equal. Now properly it's shown. Now if you want to do, let's say, some number, this one doesn't have degree. This has just 9 minutes and 30 seconds. We have to do it. You have to do it like this. Let's say I'm going back here, plus 0 shift degrees, and then 9 shift minutes, and then 30 shift the symbol, and that's the answer. Let's say you want to convert this to decimal. You see there is no degrees, so you have to do 0 shift degree, 25 minute, and then 36 second. Press equal. You see we got, because I forgot, and shift seconds. Press equal to get proper answer. Now to convert this to decimal, press format and go decimal. It will be converted. Now we have 9 degrees and 18 seconds. We want to convert it to decimal. So we have to add for the minute 9 shift and then 0 shift minute and 36 shift seconds. Now to convert it to decimal, press format, go decimal, and you will get a decimal. So format is very important. Now let's see how we can use memory with this calculator. Now let's see if you want to do 35 plus 444, and the answer is 479, but later on you want to subtract it from 1000. So we want to get 1000 subtracted by 447, 479. Let's do 35 plus 444, and then press equal sign. Now we can press 1000 and answer. 1000 minus answer key is in here, and then exe. It will get the result and divide it for you. But we have these memories variables a, b, c, d, e, f, and then x, y, and z, where you can store values. And to access them, we press this button here. That is for variable in, out. We have 2 arrows. So let's say you want to store 3 plus 5 into a. All clear. So here 3 plus 5 and exe. Press this button, select which memory you want, and then let's say a, and here from this screen store, and it's done. To see it, now if I press all clear, to see it, if I press this button, you see we can see any other value, or you can press and recall, and you will see it on the screen, and press equal if you want to see it. If you want to do some calculation, you can do that. Now let's see 777, 777, and if you want to store it to B, press first equal and this button, and then press OK, and then store, and it is stored. You want to change B equal 100. So press this button, go to B, and then select edit, and here type 100, and then press equal, and now as you can see it has changed. To recall B, I'm pressing all clear, press this variable, and then go to B and recall. You will see now B. You can do B, let's say divided by 2. It will be divided. Clear all memory, press the setting, reset, variable memory, and then OK. And now let's see how we can do derivative calculation with this calculator. We can evaluate derivative, and the answer is only number. So let's reset our calculator so we are on the same settings. Setting, reset, initialize all, yes, exe, all clear. And for example, if we have a function f of x, 2x squared plus 5x, if this is a position of an object, if you take the derivative will be velocity. The derivative of this function will be our velocity. And so we need to have one the function, and then x value for the function, and then the tolerance. The tolerance is optional. And we can do the derivative in math in, math out, or math in decimal mode, as well as the other mode. So for this, let's go for the f of x to x squared plus 5. We have to write it on the screen, and the question would be to evaluate the derivative of this. Evaluate the velocity at 3 seconds, and evaluate the velocity at 4 seconds, which means take the derivative and evaluate it with 3, and take the derivative and evaluate it with 4. For that purpose, let's go catalog, and then because it's already function, OK, and derivative is at the top, we click OK. So first we have to write down our equation, 2x squared plus 5. And here, the cursor is already there, 2 and then x. And then this one is square plus 5. Now I have everything, and then using the arrow, go to the right. And this is what we evaluate with 3, so we have to enter 3 here. And then press equal, and the answer is 12. We do it with a 4. In this case, we are just going once the cursor appears, second time in here. After that, delete it with delete button, this button, and then 4, and then exe, execute, or equal, and you get the answer. Here is a second example. We want to evaluate this f of x, which is sin x, at pi over 3. For that, we have to set our calculator to Radian mode, settings, and then angle unit. From here, we can go and select Radian, and when I press OK, all clear. Now we see here our calculator is in proper mode. So go to this catalog and OK. Now we are in derivative again. And then let's enter sin x in here. Press sin and then x. To enter our equation, we press sin and then x. Make sure to close it because there was a closing. And then with the arrow, come to the right. Shift 7. Shift 7 is pi. And then this button, so we can go fraction sign, and then 3, and then exe. And as you can see, the answer is 1.5. Now let's go to line in, line out, go to setting, calculator setting, input, output, and then here select the line in, line out, and then all clear. Now if I go to catalog, and then OK. In this case, we can set it like this. Sin, and then x, close it, and then pi over 3. We have to put comma. Comma is a second function where you press second function and then closing parenthesis, and then pi over 3 alpha shift pi divided by 3, and then again another comma, so we have to put this comma. And now the tolerance is 1 times 10 to the minus 22. That is the minimum. So you can set higher value for accurate result. So 1 times 10, I'm pressing this, it's 1 times 10 to the power minus 22. That is minus 22. And then I'm closing it. And then we have to close the actual function here at the end. And then press equal. And we got 0.5, which is 1.5, the same as before. Now let's see how we can do integral evaluation. Let's reset our calculator, settings, reset, initialize all, yes, and then exe, all clear. When you evaluate an integral, we are getting the area under the curve. You can solve only definite integral, which will give you a number. Calculation time may vary with the type of the functions that you are evaluating. When you're using, for example, trig or sine and cosine, make sure to set it to radian, otherwise you will get incorrect answer. And in line out or decimal out, you may also use a tolerance value. For the tolerance, you can use 1 times 10 to the power minus 22 or greater to get more accurate result. And let's go math in, math out. I'm going to shift setting in out, and it's math in, math out, all clear. And this is our function. We want to evaluate this x squared from 1 to 2. So this is our function, this is our lower bound, and this is called the upper bound. Now, let's go to catalog, and then OK in the function, and go down, integration. Now you see our function. So let's enter x squared, we press this x, and then for squared we press this button. So that is our squared. After that, we use this button to come down, lower bound, 1. And then using this, we can go up to set 2. And then exe. And we got the answer, which our second example says the integral of cosine 2x over 2 plus 2 from pi to 2 pi. In this case, we have to set it to radian. Let's go to settings, calculator setting, unit, radian, all clear. And mode, let's go to line mode. This time I'm pressing settings, calculator setting, in out, and then line in out, all clear. And our function will be displayed like this: integral of function from pi to 2 pi. In this case, this is our function. So from pi to 2 pi, catalog, function, and integral. And then this is our function. So let's set it. We have open parenthesis, cosine of 2x divided by 2, closing parenthesis, plus 2, and then shift comma. This is our comma. Type the pi here, shift pi. Pi is with 7 with a shift. And then we put shift comma, and then the upper bound, which is 2 pi, 2 shift pi, and then close it and press equal. You saw that it took some time, and the result is shown like this. And now example 3, we do the same thing, except we add this tolerance. Now let's use the arrow and then go one more, shift comma, and then 1 times 10 to the power minus 22, 1, and then times 10 is this button, times 10 to the power minus 22. Everything is done. I've closed it and opened it, and then press equal, and we get this answer. Now let's see how we can do summation calculation. Sum of the values for equation something like this: x squared from 0 to 4. It means x is 0 to the power 2 because it's squared, and then x is, this is lower bound, that's upper bound, and from 0 to 4, x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and every time we add it because the summation is sum of all these values. And in our equation, we can do it like this. Let me press all clear, and we have to be setting, calc, input, output, and make sure math in, math out is selected, all clear, and then press catalog, and then OK, come down, and then select summation. You will see the summation sign, and then x squared, we have it, and then with the arrow come down, we have 0, and then with the arrow go up 4, and then equal. So that is the sum of those values. And if we go in line mode, let's see, calc setting, input output, line in out, all clear, shift comma, so I'm entering here first our equation x plus 1, this is x plus 1, and then we have lower bound 2 and then upper bound 55, comma 2 and 55. So in this case now shift comma 2 and then shift comma 55, and then we close it because you have opening. Let's close it and then press equal, and that's the answer. Now let's see how we can work with logarithm. Let's reset our calculator, setting, reset, initialize all, yes, and then execute. So example 1, we want to get log of 1000. Because the log is second function here, we press shift log and then 1000. You don't even need to close it. Press equal, you get the answer. Example 2, we want to get log base 2 of 35. The previous one, this one was log base 10, and because this is base 5, so we go with a catalog, or we can do it the other way. So first, let's do it with a catalog, whatever is on the screen, all clear. I'm pressing this, and then OK, and then come here 3 times, like this, log AB, and then OK. You see the lower bound, so the base, which is 5, and then go with the arrow, and then 35, and then press equal, and you get the answer. You can do the same thing with this button here, directly, 5, go to the right, and 35, and equal. For natural logarithm, or ln, we have it here with the shift, and this is also available in the functions, so we have it with a shift. Let's go and press shift ln, and then type 90 without even closing, press equal, or let's do it with this, all clear, go in here, OK, and then with this, you come down here, you see natural logarithm, and you will see it, 90, and then equal. So we got the answer. Now let's see how we can do percentage calculation with this calculator. So the percentage can be done in 3 ways, which people miss, so I'm going to teach you here. The first way, 20% of 150. So we want to find out, we do 20 times 150, so 20 times 150, and then press this catalog, go down, probability, and then percent. So you will have it, and then execute or equal, so you get the answer. The second way with 15 is what percent of 150. In this case, 15 times 100 divided by 150. So all clear, 15 times 100 and divide by 150, so that is 10%. Now there is a third way, 30 is 20% of what value? Now we want to find the value, the actual value. In this case, all clear, 30 times 100 divided by 20. And that is 150 that we got. There is a question that it says increase 2,500 by 15%. Let's say you want to do that. So what we do is this will give us 15%, and this is the actual value. So we want to add this 15% to the value. All clear, 2,500 plus 2500 times 15, catalog, probability, and then percent. So that is 15% added. And if we want to discount 3500 by 25%, so we are getting from 3025, from 3500 we want to subtract 25%. So this whole thing is 25%. All clear. 3500 minus 3500 times 25 catalog probability percent equal, and that is the discount of 25%. Now let's see how we can do factorial of 5. For example, if we say factorial of 5, it means 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 up to 5. So whatever is this number, you go this many times, multiply them. To do that, we just say 5 and then go to catalog and then go to probability and then factorial. You will see now factorial sign, and I press OK and then equal, and that's the answer. Now let's do some permutation. For example, NCR, when there is no repeat, and it's like a lottery, pick 6 out of 49 balls. What is the total combination? Because this has C. So 49 C6. Here is how we do it. 49 catalog, probability, and then C come down. So 49 C6. So this means 49 choose 6 equal, that is 13.98 million. That's why people are getting fooled by buying the lottery. Waste your money on this. Now we have N pick R. In this case, this repeat is allowed. So we pick 6 out of 49 balls. Again, let's do it. 49, go catalog, probability, and then this time permutation, and then 6. In this case, because repeat is allowed, this is huge. This is times 10 to the power 10. So beside 1, you have 10 digits, 10 zeros. Now let's see how we can generate random 3 digits. To do that, we say 1000 and go to catalog, come down, probability, and in this case, because this goes so long, press page down, and then random number. Now you have this on the screen, press equal sign, so we got 258. If I press it again, that's 399, so I'm just pressing equal sign, equal again. Every time I press it, so it generates new number. Now, so random integers between 5 to 82, press catalog, go probability, and then come down, random integer, and now open it, 5, shift, comma, 82, close it. So this means generate random integer from 5 to 82, press equal. So I did it. Now I'm pressing again. Every time I press it, it will give you always the same range value. If you want to get absolute value of something, let's say 2 minus 7, you can do absolute value like this. All clear, catalog, numeric calculation, and here absolute. In this case, we can do 2 minus 7 equal. So this was ABS, not ABD. And if you go in line mode, press shift, setting, input, output, go to line. Now all clear. If I go catalog, numeric, absolute, you will see it like this. So 2 minus 7, close it, you get the answer. Now, if you want to do the round off, let's say 10, you want to round it off, pay attention, 10 divided by 3, multiplied by 3, which should give you the same number, but if you don't round it off, you will not get it. So let's see, we will do it like this, go to catalog, numeric, and then round off. In this case, we put 10 divided by 3 and then times 3. Now you get 9.999 and you will not get 10. And now if you set 3 decimal places with a fix, go in here, settings, number format, and then go to fix 3, all clear. Now if I press this, instead of that we are getting 9.99, 3 decimal places. Now let's see how we can do the angle conversion with this calculator. First, let's reset our calculator so we are in the same setting. Press settings, reset, initialize all, yes, and then exe or all clear. Let's say you want to convert 2 pi radians to degree. First, we have to be in the unit of conversion because we wanted the degree, it must be in degree. Right now it is in degree, and if it is not, go to settings, calculator setting, angle unit. We are in degree mode. So I'm pressing 2, shift, and then 7. This is pi. We got 2 pi. And to convert it, catalog, angle coordinate, and then what value is your value, because this is radian, we are selecting radian. This is 2 pi radian converted to degree. Press equal or execute, and that's 360. That's the answer. Let's say you want to convert 270 to radian. Okay, first we have to be in radian because this is in degree. So first press the setting, calculator setting, angle unit, radian, all clear, and then 270, we have to say that this is in degree, catalog, angle coordinate, and then degree. So this is 270 degree, and to radian, if I press equal, 3 pi over 2 radian. If you need the decimal value, just press the format, and then decimal, you will see it like this. Now let's see how we can convert polar and rectangular one to the other. So we have polar and rectangular. Rectangular is also called Cartesian. First we have to be in degree. If you need it, you can do also in radian. I'm setting it in degree. And all clear. And this is our first question. Now, in this example, we want to convert this polar because we have angle theta 36.8, and then we have r. This r is the radius 6 unit, whatever, centimeter, meter, doesn't matter. And we want to find x. How for this point? The whole point is to find the point from this area in x and in y direction. So we want to find this x and y at this point. So we have to go in line and line mode. We will see better result, but let's convert it. So we go to catalog, come to coordinate, and here, because our value we want it in polar, rectangular to polar, and polar to rectangle, you will see here it says rect. So we have polar. Let's enter 6, and then alpha with this button, that is our comma, 36.8, and then close it and press equal. As you can see, we are getting x and y, and the arrow is here. We can go and see it, but because we are in math mode, we cannot see the value properly. So if I change it, press setting, calculator setting, input output, go to line in, line out, and then all clear. Now if I go to this catalog and here and then polar to rectangle, now let's enter 6 and 36.8, 6 alpha comma 36.8, close it. If I press equal, now we see x and y in the same line, which is better. We are in line mode. In this example, we have x equal 4 and y equal x equal 4, y is minus 5. We want to find the theta and r. And for this point, we want to calculate it. Go press catalog, angle and coordinate. This time, because we want to get polar, rectopolar, here enter 4 and then alpha comma, and then we are enter minus 5, minus 5. I just enter this minus, doesn't matter, it will work. And then close it, equal. As you can see, the magnitude is 6.4 and the angle is minus 51 because it's below. If you get positive answer, that will be incorrect. Now, our third example is that we have theta and we have r, and we want to find x and y. But this is now located in that third quadrant, 1, 2nd, and 3rd. And because of that, this 50 degree is only this angle. But if you see it, and if you see it from here, that's 90, and that's 50. So we have to add all of them, which is 230 degrees. Then we can solve it. Now, this way we can solve it properly. Press catalog, and then go down. We have polar to rectangle, 6 and 236, alpha comma 230, close. And now we are getting proper value. As you can see, x is negative 3.8 and y is also negative 4.5, which is correct answer. Without 230, you will get incorrect answer. Now let's see how we can do trigonometric calculation, sine, cosine, tangent, etc. Let's initialize our calculator. So we are in the same setting, reset, initialize all, yes, and then exe. For trigonometric units, let's set it to degree. It's already in degree. And let's convert cosine. Let's calculate cosine of 8.3. Cosine 8.3. You don't need to close it. Press equal. If you want to do some other calculation, close it and then do something else. It will be fine. Sine of 42. The same way. We are getting it like that. And then sine pi over 2 radian. In this case, we have to set our radian. We can do it two ways. Let's see. All clear. Sine. For pi, I'm pressing this shift and then 7. That's our pi. Pi, I can put over 2 like that with the arrow, go to the right. Here, we can close it or we can say this is radian. Press this catalog, angle, and here we say radian. This R means that's radian, and then close it, equal. And as you can see, we got 1. But if you don't put it, let me go and delete it. It's in terms of degree. It will calculate like that because we get the wrong answer. Now let's change the degree to radian. So you are familiar with that. Press the settings, calculator setting, angle unit, and then set it to radian and exit. Now if I press equal, we get 1. So this is now in radian, we got 1. The other one was in degree, and we mentioned what was the unit. Let's change it back to degree because we will do our calculation in degree. All clear. And let's go to line in, line out mode because this is now math mode. Let's go to settings and then input output and then line in, line out, and all clear. Let's say now we do sine 45. Sine 45. You will see it at the top like that. Now we have this question, which sine of theta is 0.8. We have 0.8, and if you want to get the theta, we have to do inverse sine. For that, we will use the shift, inverse, let's press all clear, shift and inverse sine, and then we enter 0.8, and then equal, that's the angle. This angle is 53. Now we have cosine of theta, 0.34, and we want to find this theta, so we use inverse cosine. Let's use alpha cosine, that's inverse, and we enter 0.34 equal, and that angle should be 70 degrees. Now for hyperbolic, we use this catalog, all clear, catalog, and then with a page, go page down, hyperbolic and trig equal. So in this case, we can use, for example, sine hyperbolic, cosine hyperbolic, and tan hyperbolic. Let's say sine hyperbolic of 5.3, that is selected, and then 5.3 equal, we got the answer. Let's see, catalog, go down here, inverse hyperbolic, and let's say 100, and we got 5.2. This was how to use trigonometric functions with this calculator. Now let's see how we can use engineering notation with this calculator. First, let's reset our calculator so we have the same settings. Initialize, yes, and then we are in normal mode. For engineering notation, for example, if you enter 5456 and then equal, and then go to format, the format is this button here. I'm pressing format, and then go engineering notation. You will see the number like this on the screen. I entered here 3, don't worry about the 3. So now this arrow is here. It's telling you that if you go left and right, you can change it. Number of the power changes, but we can represent it in this format, or if we go this way with a negative exponent. If you want to exit, just press this button and you go one step back and exit. The same way you can do all clear, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 4 digits, and then format, engineering notation, and now you see it like that. We can change it. We have other units that can be displayed with this calculator. M is used for milli, and then we have micro, nano, pico, and the units are like this. And then we have femto, kilo, these are the bigger values, mega, giga, and then tera, peta, exa, and milli is 1 times 10 to the power minus 3, which is 1 over 1000. Pay attention, this 3 means 3 zeros, and also 3 zeros on the left of the 1. It will help you. So micro is 1 over 6, or 1 times 10 to the power minus 6. And then micro is 9. Pico is 1 times 10 to the power 12. Femto is 1 times 10 to the power 15. So every time it increases by 3, the number. Kilo is 1 times 10 to the power 3, doesn't have minus, which means 1000 kilo. And then mega is to the power 6, which is 1 million. And then giga is 1 billion to the power 9. And then tera to the power 12. And then peta to the power 15, 1p. And then exa, 1 to the power 18. You can be used with this calculator. So let's see, how can we write 500 kilo? Now I'm pressing all clear. 500, and then catalog, and then go engineering symbol, and then kilo. That is 500 kilo, and then you can add, for example, 45 kilo plus 88 kilo. So all clear, 45, catalog, engineering, and then kilo plus 88 kilo, 88, like that, equal, and that's the value. You can do also 75 micro plus 3.5 micro. Let's say 75, and then catalog, go to engineering, micro plus 3.5 micro. Like that, and that's the answer. Now let's see how we can use the solver feature of this calculator. So in our calculation, we must set it in decimal mode. Calculation, go to settings and input output, and let's set it to math in decimal out, and then all clear. So we use the solver is using Newton's method to approximate the solution. For example, you can have y is equal x plus 5, and you can solve for x if we have y. So this is a case where there is only one unknown, we can solve it. To go to the equation mode, press home, go to the right, and then equation, OK, and then click and select solver. We are now in solver mode. Now our first example is y is equal x plus 5. We have y equal 20, and we want to solve for x. For that, we have to store y into the memory, or press this button, go to y, and then edit, and then type 20, and press equal sign, and then all clear. Now to input the equation, y is equal x plus 5, I'm pressing shift and then y here, and then alpha, this equal alpha x plus 5, and then press equal sign. When I press equal sign, it asks for solve target. We have to select x, and then on the next screen, and then it asks you for the initial value. Press this and enter 1 for initial value, and then when I press equal, it comes to execute, and then press OK. It solved it, and that is true. If this was 20, this is 5, this must be 15. So the answer is correct. X is 15, which is true. And left R, LR means the accuracy. 0 means absolute. 0 means absolute value. There is no error. But if there is a number, that shows the amount of error in your calculation. Now this is example 2. Now x squared minus b over 2 is equal 0. We can solve for x if we know the value of b, and I'm entering b for b, I'm entering value of 4. So let's put b in the memory, press this button, go to b, and then edit, and then 4 equal. So now we have it, all clear, exit. And now let's input our equation, all clear. Now we have x squared, let's delete this, alpha x squared minus this b, alpha b, b is this 5, and then go down 2, and this way alpha equal, and then 0. Now press equal sign, and it will ask you for which is the target, x, and x initial value 1, and then execute, and that's the answer that we got for this question. Now we can use also different method here. For example, this is the gravitational formula. The amount of force between the two planets or two objects is this formula, gravitational constant times m1, m2 divided by the distance between them or radius of two objects. This is Newton's gravitational formula. We want to solve for r using g, and then all the values will be available. So m1 and m2 are two objects. The mass of the objects, r is the distance between the two objects, and g is a gravitational constant. For m, we have 1 times 10 to the power 12, and m2, 1 times 10 to the power 9, and force between them is 0.5, and we want to store it m1 into A, m2 into B, and f into C. So let's do that, all clear, and then equation, let's go for A and edit 1 times 10 to 12, 1, that's times 10 times 10, and then 12 equal, that's done. Let's go to B, 1 times 10 to the power 9, edit 1 times 10 to the power 9, and then that's done. For C, 0.5, go to C, edit 0.5 and equal, all clear, that's done. Now for our formula, we cannot use m1, m2 and r, so here is our formula that is modified. We have f, we have g from the constants, and a, b, and c squared. We are going to write it like this. So to input our equation, let's press F, alpha 3, that is F, alpha equal, and then let's go for the catalog, and then go down, scientific constants, and then go to universal, and then find G and select it. And then we type A, so we put this, and then we type A, alpha 4, that is A, and then B, alpha 5, that is B, and then we go down, and then alpha 6, C, and then squared, and then exe. Now we have all the formula, all the elements of the formula. And then what is the target? Go down, target is C, select it, and then initial value, click and OK, and then execute. And as you can see, we found 110. This is the amount of, this is the distance, and we got LR with this much error. So let's see what was wrong. Our formula is correct, but let's see our memory. Let's edit it. 1 times 10 to the 12 equal, and then let's go to B, 1 times 10 to 9, 1 times 10 to 9, and then equal, and F is 0 here, that's why, edit 0.5, and then equal. Now if I press all clear, press equal, now let's select C, and initial value for C is 1, and then execute. Now this is the correct answer, and the distance between them is 365,353, so that's 365 kilometers with this amount of force that we have. Now let's see how we can do custom function. Let's reset our calculator. Reset, initialize all, yes. So I'm pressing all clear. So press home and then go to calculate general. We are already there. So we can have f of x and we can have g of x custom functions and calculate with any value that we like. For example, how to type x and x squared. Type x, we press shift. We press shift and then this, it will print x. To make it square, we just press this button. So here are the steps. Now let's define f of x is equal x squared plus 1. To do that, we press this function and then go down, define f of x, and then we enter x squared plus 1, so alpha x, and then squared plus 1, and then press exe. That is done. It has been saved. Calculation with f of 5, that is x equal 5. So press this function and then select the function that you want, and here enter 5. If I enter 5 and equal, it has been evaluated in my equation. If you want to change it to 7, just press this arrow, make it 7, and then equal, and this way you can do that. Now we can do insert f of x into g of x to make f of x equal f of x times 2 minus x. So let's define our g of x. All clear? Let's go to function, define g of x equal, let's put f of x. So at this stage, just press function so we can bring the function f and then function x, close it, multiply by 2x plus x, 2 alpha x plus alpha x. So that's our function, 2x plus x, and then press equal. Now our function has been defined. Now let's perform calculation of g of 8. So press function, select g, and it asks you for the value. Press 8 equal. Now it has been evaluated with f of x inside g of x. You turn on and off, the data will be lost, and if you make any changes by pressing the setting button. Now let's see how we can use the table feature of this calculator. So let's press home and then go table, the table, press equal, and we can create a table based on 1 or 2 function. That's very important. We can have f of x or g of x. And let's say we want to have f of x equal 2x squared plus 1, and g of x is this one. And when you want to evaluate the x when x is equal 1, x is equal 2, 3, so we can create table of value for the 2 functions. To press x, we press shift and 0, and to press x squared, press shift 0 and then square. Let's define this. Press this tool, and then you will see that it says define f of x or g of x. Come down and select, because we want f of x. Select it. Now you can see the function from previous value is there. I'm just pressing 2x squared plus 1, and then done. Go here again, and then g of x. Let's delete it. X squared, so alpha x squared minus 5x minus 5 alpha x plus 3. So we have plus 3. Now let's and then press equal. So that is done. We have 2 functions. And to set our table range, press the tool and then table range. OK. In this screen now, we want to start with 1. You can type here 1 and then equal, and then here we want, let's say 5 or 3, whatever you want, equal, and then step equal 1, and then execute. And here is our table of value with x is equal 1 in the function. These are the values 2, 3, and 4. And if I go down, 5. And 5 is also here. You can store value of the table, 2 variables using this button. To do that, the value, let's say you want to store this value into b. Bring the cursor, this variable, go to b, and then OK, and then store. Now the value has been stored. For f of x, if you have only f of x, you can have 45 rows, but if you have f of x and g of x, you can have 30 rows of data displayed. We can update the equation as well by pressing this button, and here define f of x, and whichever you want, you can go and change it. Let's say you want to change this to 5 and then equal. Now the value has been recalculated. This was -1 and now it has been changed. If you want to insert a row below this, very easily, press this tools, edit, and then insert. So one row has been inserted. If you want to delete a row, bring the cursor to the row. Let's say this line, which is empty. I can just press this delete button and the row is deleted. If I go up, again, I can delete a row. To delete all row, press the tools and then go down, edit, and then delete all. Everything has been deleted. Here are the data retention method, so keep in mind these will affect it. If you press home, the data will be discarded, but if you have the table and f of x, it will be kept. If you turn on and off, the table numbers in the column will be discarded, deleted. Table range will be retained, table type will be retained, but the function will be deleted. The same way for the settings. Only table range and table settings will be kept. If you press tool, this has number tables will be discarded, table range will be retained, and the functions will be retained if you press this tool. Now let's see how we can generate QR code with this calculator. So QR stands for quick response. You can scan it using your mobile device. For example, you have a function and you generate QR code and then use your phone with a camera, and then once you see the URL and touch, take you to the class pad from Casio. And you can set the QR version, select the QR version of 3 or 11. So you can generate QR code, and once you scan it, it will take you to ClassPad.net. Now let's type this equation and generate QR code for it. So let's say cosine 2.5 alpha x. I press alpha with this x button. Close it, plus alpha x and then squared. Let's say you want to generate a QR code. I can create it, press equal, don't worry about the 1, press shift and QR. It will generate the QR code for you. Now you need to install the app for this. I'm using iPhone, so as soon as I bring my camera, as you can see, the camera has recognized it, and I can open. It goes to ClassPad, and that's my equation. And if it needs graphing or anything, there are tons of tools. You can create an account, log in, and for example, generate a function here. Casio. You can graph, you can do so many things, but you need to create an account and log in. Now let's see how we can use a statistical calculation with this calculator. First, let's reset our calculator so we have the same settings. Reset, initialize all, yes, and we are on this screen. For a statistical calculation, you can display one column, or you can display a column with frequency, or you can display two columns, two variable x and y and frequency. And if you have one column, you will have 160 rows of data. If you have two columns, you will have 80 rows of data. And if you have for 35 rows, you will have 3 columns. You can have one single or two variables, and you can have linear regression. For example, y is equal a plus bx, quadratic regression, logarithmic regression, exponential regression. and exponential A-B regression, power regression, inverse regression. Let's go by pressing home and then go to statistics. Second one, press OK. And on this screen, let's select two variables. And right now the frequency, make sure the frequency is off. If not, we press this button, frequency, and then it's off. So all clear. I'm exiting back. And we're going to enter this data here. First, let's enter at x 170, and then I'm pressing exe after each value, so we are entering only x. Now 179, and then exe, and then 773 exe. When you reach that, go press arrow to come to the top because it rotates, and go to the right. And now we are doing 66, and then equal, after that 75, and then 68 equal. When we press at this stage, we just press OK to see on this screen. Select two variable result, and here is the result that you are getting. All the results are here. You can go with the page up, page down to see them one by one, or if you prefer, you can use up and down keys that you can see all the variables that you need for this calculation. And this was a simple one. Don't worry, I'm going to give you more example. Press home, and now in this case we are going for a one variable, and here it asks you clear data. Yes, now all the data have been cleared. Now let's turn on the frequency by pressing the tool key, and then frequency, and then go up and on, press OK, and then all clear. So all clear is here, and exe is at the bottom. This is like equal. Now let's enter the first column in here, 1, and then exe2, 3, and I enter them. Now 4, 5, 6, 4 equal, 5 equal, and then 6 equal. Now 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Once everything is done, then come down, and then because it rotates back to 1, go to the right, and then let's enter the frequency, 1, 2, 1, and here 2, 2, 2, and then 3, 4, 2, and then 1. So I've entered all of the information. Just press OK. You will come to this screen and select one variable result, and this is the information that you see. Again, you can go up and down and see it. I'm going to bring them one by one. Do not worry yet. It's just an example so you understand it. Now if you want to, you can in here the data are summation and square of summation. This is mean. This is population standard deviation, population variance, population standard deviation. This was population standard deviation. And then number of items n. We have minimum of x, maximum of x, median. Q1 in here is first quartile. Q1 is first quartile, and then Q2 is 3 quartiles. Third quartile, and if you want to return back, just press this button or EC, all clear. Let's press this so we can return back to the data. Now this is a question that we are using all the information from here to calculate. It says determine the normalized variate when x is equal to and p at t at that point. So we want to find that one. So p at t is in terms of distribution, refers to the to this value like that. So we are on the table. If not, we are doing it. Now press OK and you will see this screen, and here we select statistic calc, go down, and you will see this screen. Once you see this screen, then and here let's use the first portion, normalize variate when x is equal to. So enter 2. We are using the data from our calculation. Then press catalog, and then statistics, and then normal distribution, come down, and here we can select t. So the data is fed into t, and press OK, and here is the calculation, the calculated result of t. And now we want to find the p at t, because we get the t. So we have to have p on the screen. Now catalog, statistic, normal distribution, and this time select p. And now we want to bring the result here. We have to press answer. Answer means this value is here. Close it and press equal, and that is the value. When you did x of t, that's actually the equation, that data minus the mean of the data divided by standard deviation. So everything was done here very quickly. When we did it, that was x at that value. Now let's go for statistics of second variable. Press home, statistics, this time select second variable and press OK. If you see it says clear data, select yes, and now we have this screen. Now this time we want to turn off the frequency by pressing the tools, frequency, and then off, and then all clear. We are here on this screen. Now let's enter this information. Every time I press it, I press exe or equal. So 1 equal 1.2, 1.5, and then go to the next column, 1.6, 1.9, 2.1, and then 2.4, 2.5, 2.7, and then 3. I've entered 10 data here. Let's press this key down and then go to the right. So we are in the Y column. Now let's enter all this. 1, 1.1, 1.3, and then go here 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and then 2.5, 1.7, 1.8, and then 2. 1.8, and then 2. Now we have all the data. Now we press OK, and then select reg result, and then select y is equal a plus bx. So you will see the data something like this. If you just want to read it, you can press return or all clear AC to return. Let's return back to the data, and now press OK, and then select the regression result, and this time select quadratic, and here is a quadratic result. To return back to the editor, press this return or AC. Now we are on this screen. So let's do some more calculation. OK, and this time select statistical calculation. So, and here we can do statistical calculation of linear regression. Now you should see this on the screen. Then press catalog, and then summation, statistics, and then summation. When you do that, you can see all the summations. Anything, any of these you want, you can just click, select, and press OK. It comes here. On this screen, we can press EXE to view it, Or if you want to go, you just press arrow, and let's say you want to do it something, some more calculation, you can do that. You can also save them in variable, for example, e of x into a. So first let's bring it by pressing this catalog, statistics, summation, and then x. When press equal sign, now we can press this variable, memory variable, and then select which one you want. We want a, and it says store. Press OK, and it has been stored. Let's sum of squares of values into b. So press statistics, summation, and then select this variable, and then exe. This is very important to press exe so that the information is here. Now press this variable, go to b, and then store, and it has been stored. Now to see it, press variable, and you will see our values are there. Now if you want to get the mean, here press this statistics. You can see the means, and if I press OK, this is the mean of value, and you see it on the screen. This is example 4, where it says determine the coefficient a and b, and the correlation coefficient r for this linear regression. To return to the editor, we press this until you see it. So now to get it, press OK, and statistical calculation, and then select a plus b. Now we are in linear regression, and now we can press catalog, statistics, and then regression, and in here we can see them or view them whichever way you want. Let's say for a, press it. If I press a, that's the value. We can press this button again to come back to the editor, and let's go statistical calculation. So we can press this button, statistics, regression, and the same way we can see b, and the same way we can see r if you want. Let's say plus statistics, regression, and correlation coefficient. So if you want to do something with it. Now to display two variables, press this tools in here, this tool, and then two variables. This is the two variable result. Now press all clear. We are in this screen, and click here, statistics, regression, and these are all the values for that. Now if you want to see the quadratic regression, select this, and then select regression type, and from here we can select different regression. You will see it here on the screen. Now let's do some distribution calculation from the statistics. Determine the estimated value of y hat when x is equal 5.5 and the regression equation resulted from the data. So press this so we can come to the data, press OK, and here statistic calculation, and select linear. We are in this screen. Let's put 5.5, catalog, statistics, and then go to regression, and here we can see y hat, and press OK or exe. You will see the result, something like that. And to delete all the data that you have, now to go back to the editor, press this until you see the editor. Now you can delete data. Here press a tool, edit, delete all. Everything have been deleted. Here are the equations that were used in our calculation. All of them are available here. Now let's see how we can use the distribution feature of this calculator. For distribution, we can have probability, binomial probability will be displayed like that, binomial cumulative probability will be displayed like that, normal probability density will be displayed like that, normal cumulative probability, so CD, and then normal inverse cumulative, you will see it as inverse normal, Poisson probability, and then Poisson cumulative probability will be displayed on the screen like this. Now the question says calculate binomial cumulative probability for x data, this is the data 2, 3, 4, when n number of trials are 5 and probability of the success is 0.5. So let's go to distribution, press home, go to distribution, press OK, and here binomial cumulative, select binomial CD, and from here select list, and you will see it like this. Now let's enter our data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 2, and I am pressing 2 and then equal 3, 4, and 5. Once you are done, press OK. You will see this screen. Now it asks for n, I'm pressing OK and changing it to 5 and then pressing EXE. Now for row equals 0.5, press OK, 0.5 and then OK, and then execute. I'm pressing execute, and here is the result. All the value have been calculated for us for each value of x. Now another question to calculate different n and p, just press EXE, and here you can select 6, OK, and then 0.3 for example, and here is the result based on the changed value. To change the x, for example, press AC, it has been deleted, and then we can go here and enter, for example, 5, 9 or so shown. To insert a row, for example, in here, press the tool, edit, and insert row. From here you can also delete it. When I press insert row, you can see here the value is 0, so I can enter something new like 9. But if you want to delete it, press this, edit, delete all, everything will be deleted. Now let's say calculating normal probability density with all these values. The population mean is mu, and then population standard deviation is sigma here. And so let's go again, select, and then distribution, and select normal PD, and here now let's enter, this is 36, x is 36, press OK and enter 36 and press OK, and then mean is 35, and then for this enter 2, OK, and you will see execute, and we found the population probability density here. Now to change the value to another value, just press AC. We will come back here and enter, for example, 40 and then 21 or whatever you want. You get the result. Now let's do some spreadsheet calculation with this calculator. You can have 45 rows of information in spreadsheet and 5 columns, and the rows will be labeled from 1 to 45 and the columns will be from A to E. Each cell can accept up to 14 bytes and once you press exe, the value will be confirmed. Now let's see how we can type A, B, or C on the screen. We press alpha and then A, and the same way alpha would be these golden colors or letters that you press with alpha, and also if you want X and Y. And here the equal sign is in this key, that is A, and if I want to press, and that's X, and this is the screen, and this cell is called A2 because from the top A and then 2, and this is called C1, and if you enter 7 plus 3, that's called constant, and you can enter also sine 30, for example, or A1 times 2. This A1 times 2 means value of A1 times 2. Let's now reset our calculator, so we have the same settings. Go settings, reset, initialize all, and yes, now the calculator has been resetted. Now I'm on the home. If not, just if you're not on the home, just press home, go to spreadsheet, and we have clear spreadsheet. Now amount of memory is very important, because if you fill up the spreadsheet you will run out of memory. Press tool, go to available memory, so you can see the available memory, which is now fully available, 2380 bytes, and all clear. To exit, this is all clear, and then I'm going to use exe or equal, so this is equal or exe. Now example 1, we are inputting this data 7 times 5 into A for this, and then 7 times 6, and then for A3 here we are going to enter A2 times A2 plus 7. The same way you can go for any of these cells. This is B1 and this is, for example, D4. And for the B1 we want to enter equal A1 plus 2. The difference is that this means grab the data and that's it. But this means reference the data, which means equal to A1. If you change A1, B1 will change because we have equal sign here. And let's move the cursor to A1, to this spot. The cursor is there. If not, we just move it. And let's enter A1 7 times 5, 7 times 5, and then press equal, and then it goes to A2 7 times 6, and then equal, and then go to A3, and then go to A3. Now we are on A3 alpha 4. I typed A plus 7 and then equal. Now it says move to B1, so go to the right or B1. Now I'm in B1. And we are entering equal sign, shift this button to type equal, and then alpha 4 A 1 plus 7. So it says get A1 plus 7. So that's 35 and it becomes 42 and the cell. We can move to any cells like that, and you can press OK to change it. It allows you to change it. You can go with the arrow left and right, or you can use the delete. This is the delete key. Or to exit from that cell, just press this back, or we can use this tool. Well, a lot of options, including edit cell, would allow you to do that. To exit from that, just press return. Now, if you want to change, for example, A2 to 13, go to A2, press OK, and then we can delete it and make 13. My cursor was at the beginning because in the previous operation it was at the beginning. And then press OK, and the value has changed. To change the cell formula, for example, in this case, press OK, and you will have option to change it. I'm not going to do that. As I mentioned, to delete a cell value, just go to the cell and press this, which I just shown you. Now, example 1, we want to set B2 equal A2 plus 7. So we are in B2, if not B2, and then shift equal, we want A2 plus 7, A alpha 4, 2 plus 7, press equal. So that is, you can see A2 plus 7. Something is called grab from cell. So we want to go in B2, should be this value, A2 plus 7. Now, let's see where I'm in A2, B2. I'm in B2. We want to move the B2 to C2. This is, let's say this is called grab from cell. We grab from B2 this value and move it to C2. So I'm in B2 and then press tool, come down, it says copy. Okay, now it has been copied, it's just waiting for you. Move to C2, just next cell, and press OK. It has been pasted. Now we have to press all clear or return to exit. I'm pressing this so I can exit. Now if we compare B2 to C2, if we go to B2, it's A2. Now if C2 have been changed to B2, the reason for that is because this was relative, and was relative, and we could protect it. We could protect it. I'm going to show you. Now let's move A1 to C3. Let's move to A1 and then tool. This time we're moving it. So select cut and paste and then C, that's 2, 3. We are on C3. Press OK. So this has been moved. Now let's use absolute reference, because let's change B2 to $. We can put $, that will be reference like a regular spreadsheet. Press 7 to make it OK. So now let's go to B2 and press edit, select edit cell and bring the cursor between the A and 2 and press tool, press catalog, spreadsheet, and we have $. Here. Now we got the $, plus 7, press OK. So if I go up, now you will see it. Copy B2 to C2. We are in B2, press this, copy, and then go to C2, press OK, exit. Now if you look at C2, it has been changed to B2. The reason for that is that A has been preserved. A has been changed because there was no $, in front of it, but 2 have been preserved because we put the $, in front of it. So this was $2, and now here we have a $2. So that way it did not change because of the $. To delete all cells, press this button and then go down until you see delete all, and everything have been deleted. We can put in our cell minimum, maximum, mean. You can calculate minimum, maximum, or mean. Let's input these data. 7 times 5, I'm pressing equal, 7 times 6, and then alpha A2 plus 7, and I'm going to B1, alpha equal alpha 4, 1 plus 7, and enter. So we have the data. Now let's go to A4. Now here there is nothing, and we want to type this equal sum A1 to A3. So press alpha equal, so we have equal sign, and then go to this catalog spreadsheet and then down until you see sum. Now we got sum, and then because we want A1, alpha A, and then 1. Now continue spreadsheet, and then we bring colon, and then alpha A, and then 3, close it, and exe. Now as you can see, we got the sum of the all cells, which is 126. The same way you can do minimum, maximum, mean, all other values. We can do batch input of the same formula into series of cells here. Go to B1, for example, and fill formula. We are selecting a fill formula to fill all the column for us. So go to tools, and then fill formula, and let's fill it like this. 2a1 minus 3, we want to grab a1, multiply it by 2, and subtract 3. So from, press OK, and here 2 alpha a1 minus 3, and then press OK. And b1 to b3, let's change it. So b1 is OK. I'm coming here. No, b1, delete. So b1, and then delete 3, and press OK. And after that, just confirm. And as you can see, we have filled up this information from b1 to b3, and the formula has been already entered for us. So we can check the values. So input batch, same constant. Before it was same formula. Now we want to bring same constant regardless, because if you see here, this was formula. We copied everything with a formula, but now we are going with a constant. Go to C1. We are now in C1, and then press tool. This time select fill value. When you select fill value, now press enter. B1 alpha B1 times 3, and then press equal. And in this case now C1 is OK. I'm gonna change it to C3 and OK, and confirm. Now we get just a value, no formula in C, but if I go here, there is a formula with equal sign with numbers, but this is just value. The same way you can check the values. We can have some settings for the app, for example, auto calculate. If I press this tool, you see here auto calc, and you can set on off. Right now it's on, because any value that you enter, it will be reflected. But if you set it to off, then it cannot work. And if I go back, you have to come back to this recalculate to do that. And also we can have tools, value formula, show cell, for example, and then so in the cell, if you want formula or view value, if I go to value and exit, now this doesn't show here, even though we have formula, but it shows a number. Now let's change it back. Show cell, let's change it to formula and exit. Now it shows the formula. And the same way we have recalculate, which I've just shown you. Now let's see how we can solve polynomials. We can solve second degree, which is x to the power 2, third degree x to the power 3, and fourth degree x to the power 4 degree polynomials with this calculator. We can get real or complex solutions. We can get with x minimum and y minimum as well. First, let's reset the calculator so we are in the same settings. Press on the settings, go to reset, and then initialize all, and yes, press for exe. To go to the equations, we go to equation up, press home, and then go to the right until you see equation, press. You will see this screen, and we select polynomial. After that, we want to work with the second degree, ax squared plus bx plus c. Press it, and you will see the screen. So we're going to use Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi's formula, also called quadratic. This is a formula from Muhammad ibn Musa. And Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi was a Persian mathematician from Khurasan. In Arabic, محمد ابن موسى الخوارزمی من خراسان الكبير هو الفارسی. فارسی زبان از خراسان کبیر. So what is Khurasan? Khurasan is currently Tajikistan, east of Iran, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. Now let's see how we can solve x squared minus 5x plus 6 by finding the roots. Is 6, so that's first coefficient, that's the second coefficient. The first one is squared, so that's to the power 2, that's to the power 1, that is to the power 0. So first we will enter the coefficient of first term, and here 1, and then I can press OK, it moves to the next one, or I can press exe or equal. And then here that's minus 5, I can enter just this minus, it will work fine in this calculator. Minus 5 and then OK, and then enter 6 and then OK. Once you're done, you can press OK to see the answer. So we can press exe to get x1 and exe again to get x2. x1 is 3 and I'm pressing exe again, it's 2. Now you see the two arrows, it tells you that you can go back to see x1 or come down to see x2, and if I press equal sign, you see minimum of the equation is x equal 5 over 2, and if you do not like this, press this format button. I'm pressing it, select decimal to see it in this format. Now go to the next one, x minimum, this is minimum of x, and y minimum, and this is the y minimum minus 1 over 4. If I change the format, minus 0.25. Let's go to the equation, and as you can see, it is at y minus 2.5, and here minus 0.25. You can see it. And the first one was 3, and the second one was 2. And now let's try the same thing using line. So let's go to settings, calculator settings, and then input output, and then line in, line out. Let's go down and select it and press all clear, and now the equation is already there, and just press exe. We got 3, 2, and the value shows like this because there is no fraction, and the answer will be displayed this way. And now to continue with different values, I've already pressed exe, so I can press 2, 3, or 1, and then the answer, because now we are in line mode, we see minus 1 over 2, and you can press format to get decimal. Let's go to the next one, that's minus 1. X minimum is minus 0.75, and y minimum is minus 0.125. Now this is an example that we have x squared minus x plus 1. This has imaginary solution, so let's see how it works. So first let's enter the first one, 1, and here minus 1, and the last one is also 1. When I press equal, here we can see that it says 1 over 2, 0.866 something with the I here, because we are in the line mode. And let's go to the next solution. Is also, the first one is positive, the second one is negative. Now sometimes you need the exact value, so press settings, go to input output, and then select math in, math out at the top, and then all clear. And if I press equal, setting that, if I press equal sign, you will see the proper full. So this is the exact value 1 plus square root of 3i, which has imaginary value over 2. And if I press equal again, this is minus. So just the sign changes according to Muhammad bin Musa's formula. The x minimum, so the y minimum at x and the y minimum at y, the value is here, and if I press it, it will come back. Now this is example 3 of the quadratic. I just press equal sign to see it. Now for this, let's click on the graph from desmos.com, and our equation is in here, and as you can see, at 5 it's just touching the x at 5, but it is not crossing. Let's enter the value. That's 1, and this is minus 10, equal, and the last term is 25. If I press equal, now that's the answer. X is 5, and then minimum of y, x is equal 5, and y is equal 0. So x is equal 5, and y is 0 because it doesn't go below this line. Now this is example 4 of quadratic. In this case, we have 5x squared plus 2x. The last term is missing, so we have to add our own. Now I'm pressing equal sign, come here. So the first part, a is 5, and this part, that's the second term, b, 2, and the last term we have to enter 0, and then equal, that's the answer. Let's have a look at the graph. So the graph looks like this. x1 is minus 0.4, and x2 is 0 in here, 0.2 at this, and then y is again, so x and y, both of these are at this spot, minus 0.2 and 0.2. That's for minus x, and this is for minus y. Let's go for the example 5 for the third. Let's go to equation and then select polynomial, and this time we are selecting ax to the power 3 bx to the bx squared plus cx plus d, and press OK. Now this is an example that we have minus x to the power 3 plus 4x, so x to the power 2 is missing, and then last term is missing. Let's have a look at the graph first. Our graph looks like this, and if I close it so you can see it better. So the solution is like this. X is 2, 0, and minus 2. And let's see. So the first term, so we will write it like this. The first term is minus 1, and then equal. The second term for the square is 0. The third term is 4, and then the last term is 0. And then press equal. As you can see, we got x1 equal 2, x2 is minus 2, and x3 is 0. Local maximum is this number, so I can convert it to decimal. That's the local maximum, and for y, that's the value. Cubed plus 3x minus 5, and as you can see, the x squared term is missing, so we have to rewrite it. This has imaginary roots, so the coefficient for the first term is minus 1, and second term, which is missing, 0. This 3x is here, and then minus 5. Let's enter it here. Minus 1, and then 0, okay, and then 3, okay, and then minus 5, I enter minus 5, and if I press equal, that's the answer, minus 2.5. As you can see, the arrow shows either I can press equal or go down, and this is the other solution. I'm in line mode, settings, OK, OK, and here I'm in line mode. If you're not, just do it. So that's the solution, and the third solution is the same thing. Pay attention, second and third only have the sign, and the local maximum of this equation, local maximum of x is 1 and maximum of y is -3. Now let's open the plot here, and this is the 0 line, and if I go here, x1 is -2.27, and if I bring my mouse here, 2.279, that is this solution. And for the second one, 1.13, and that's imaginary. I put the value here, positive and negative. You see the dot here. So the other two solutions are imaginary. They are not on x-axis, just below and above this y0 line. Now let's see how we can do system of equation with this calculator. First, let's reset it. Go to settings, reset, initialize all, yes, and it has been resetted fully. We can solve 2 to 4 unknown equations like this. For example, we have here 2 unknowns and we are solving them. So we can solve for x, y, and z in equation when we have 3 equations. So you have to have 3 equations to solve for 3 unknowns. 2 equations, press home, and then go to the right, again equation, and in this case select simultaneous equation, the first one, enter, and then let's select 2 unknown. And here is our equation. We have to enter it. As you can see here, we have 2x, 4y is equal 10, and then x minus 6y equal 3. We want to find which value of x and y makes this equation true. So we will enter 2, 4, and 10. And we have a spot here that is for the first equation. We can enter x and y is there. We just enter the value that I have highlighted here. So first 2 and then equal. I'm pressing this exe or equal. And then 4 and then OK. It goes to the last one, 10. And then OK. It moves to the next one. In this case, 1. And then OK. And then minus 6. Don't worry, any minus will work. And then here minus 3. OK. So if I press equal, you will get the answer like x. That was just an example. So x is 3, y is 1, and we got the answer. So this when you see x, the arrow is down. If I press it again, y is shown and it shows up. You can go back and see it. If you want to change the values, just press equal sign. It will come back, and it will allow you to change the values. Let's say 3, 4, 1, 5, 2, 8. This is just random. No, it might not solve, but yeah, solved it. Now let's go for 3 equations. Select home, equation, simultaneous equation, and then 3. Now we have 3 rows. Now pay attention that because we have x, y, and z, and then we have more on the right side, which I'm going to enter. Now for the first one, let's enter. This is our equation. We have x, y, and z this time, but some of them are missing, so I'm going to fix it and show you. So for the first one, let's enter 1, OK, and then 5, OK, and then for z, 1. Now pay attention. If I press OK, it goes to the right, and after equal, we have now on the right side of equation, we have space now to enter 15, and then OK. It returned back to the first one, and now we enter 3, 1, 6, 20. 3, okay, 1, okay, 6, and then 20. I entered it, it moved back. Now in here we have to enter our 0, minus 2, 8, 0, 8. Minus 2, okay, 8, 0, and then move to the right of equation, and then 8, equal. And then if I press equal, you see x, press it again, y, now the arrow shows that we have more, and then z is 1. And this way you can go up and down and solve for simultaneous equation or system of equations. Now let's press home, general calculation. Now let's see how we can solve inequality with this calculator. We can solve second, third, and fourth degree inequalities with this. So press home, come down on the next screen, inequality, and press equal, and then you will see it. So let's select quadratic, 1 to the a to ax squared plus bx plus c equal. And our first example is this, x squared plus 2x minus 3. We want to see at what value it is less than, if it is less than 0, if it is true or not, so, or at what value. Let's select the second one and press OK. And it will ask you, let's enter the value 1, and then OK, 2, and then minus 3, and OK. After that, if I press OK, it will give you the answer. It says that x is smaller than b and bigger than a, which means x is smaller than 1. When x is smaller than 1 or greater than minus 3, this equation is true. Let's open the graph here to see it. As you can see, this is from desmos.com. That's my equation. As you can see here, it says when x is less than 1 and greater than minus 3, then that is where the equation is below 0. Y is less than 0. You see this point is 1, and that is minus 3, and this shaded area is below this line. And anything above is positive. So these are less than 0. But we can change the value like this. Let's go to calculator setting, and input and output, and then select line in, line out, and then all clear. Now you will see it's shown like this. If you prefer like this. Now for this we have to select our equation again. Go to home, inequality, and quadratic, and from here we can select when the equation or y is greater than 0, greater or equal. Now we enter our value 2, minus 3, and then 1, OK, and press equal. And the answer is presented like that. In terms of decimal, still I don't like it, so let's press settings and out, and let's select math in, math out, and then all clear. So the value will be shown like this. It's bigger. Now let's have a look at the graph of this. This is on desmos.com. And as you can see, it says x is greater than 1. It's positive because when x is less than 1, it's below it. And when x is smaller or equal than half, so when it's smaller or equal than half, then it is positive. Press home, and then go to the inequality and select cubic to the power 3. And our question is like this. We have it when it is greater than 0. So let's select greater than 0, greater or equal than 0, and I got it here. So let's enter minus 2, OK, 4, OK, and then 1, and then minus 2 again. Now this is our value. If I press equal, we see here the solution. X is smaller or equal than A, and X is smaller than C and greater than B, and A, B, and C have been defined in here. So we have to see it. Now I'm pressing format again, and then go to decimal, and you will see A, B, and C clearly here, even though they are a little small, but better to understand. Let's have a look at the graph. This is a graph. It says from the right, X is less than C and greater than B. B and C are here. So less than 2 and greater than 2.7. So less than 2, this is 2, and then 0.7. So in this area of X, in between these two values of X, Y is positive. And here, when X is smaller than A, it's positive, and A is minus 0.7. So in this area, minus 0.7. Beyond this point, Y is positive, because this equation goes forever in the positive direction. Beyond this point, it never comes on this side. Now let's see how we can use complex number calculation with this calculator. Let's reset the calculator so we are in the same settings. Reset, initialize, yes, and OK. Now for the complex, let's press home, go down and select complex, press OK. We can have rectangular complex value A plus BI, or we can have polar in this calculator, and we can enter it or show it. At the top of the calculator, you see here I, that I or angle will be displayed. If that is I, it shows the complex result will be in rectangular, and if you see the angle, it will be polar, which I'm going to show you. The default is I. So in rectangular, we have X and Y. We have X and Y. We have a point. If you draw a line, there is an angle theta. And if it is polar, then we have R, the magnitude, and then theta, so we can find the appropriate rectangular value from polar. So the complex notation is based on agreement. In some school or books, you will see, for example, 8 plus 5i. The I is at the end of the second portion or second term, or you will see 8 plus j5, and the letter j refers to imaginary, that's before the second term. This calculator uses this method. We will type I at the end. So let's see how we can input 8 plus 5i. We press 8 plus 5 because we want I, press shift, and 9. This 9 has I here. I'm pressing it, and you will see I. Now if I press EXE, you will see the same thing. The result is displayed based on whatever you have here on the setting. And we can also input 2 angle 45 in polar format. So let's press all clear. I'm pressing this AC, all clear. 2, and then catalog, complex, and then angle, and 45. Now if I press equal sign, it will be converted to rectangular because we have rectangular. And this is the exact value. And if you want to see the decimal portion, you can press this format and then select decimal, and you will see it in terms of decimal, real and imaginary, like that. Now let's say we want to change the display format to our theta. Let's press settings, calculator settings, and then complex, go down until you see complex result, and then select R and theta, press OK, and then all clear. Now this has changed to angle, and if I press equal anytime, it will be like this. So now this shows that we are in polar. And we can do calculation something like this. Let's open a parenthesis, 2 plus 6 and then alpha I, close it, divided by 3 alpha I. Now if I press equal sign, you will see that we see the angle, And pay attention, the angle is set to degree, and the result, if you want to convert it to polar, this angle is now 0. And if I set it to radian, it will be different. Now let's do this calculation. 1 plus I to the power 4, all clear. Open a parenthesis, 1 plus alpha I, close it, and then press this button and type 4, and then with the arrow go to the right, so we are out of this power, and then plus, don't forget this plus, 1, open a parenthesis, 1 minus alpha I, close it, and then for a square we have a button here. I'm just pressing it, press equal, and because our setting is in terms of polar, we will get the magnitude and the polar. Now this number, again we want to format it, press format and decimal, you will see the angle and the format like this. Because we are in math in, math out mode, we needed to press the format. Now let's go to settings, calculator, input output, and math in, math out, all clear. Now if we enter something that has changed, now it's removed. Now let's do this again. Open a parenthesis, 1 plus alpha I, close it, and then press this button, now 4, and then close that, and plus 1 minus alpha I, close it, and then squared. Now if I press exe, the answer will be directly shown in real magnitude and angle format. Again, this depends on D. If I go to settings, angle unit, and select radian, if I press equal, now before this was the first result, this is a second result calculation. As you can see, the magnitude is the same, but the angle has changed to 2.67 radian. Let's go and change it to degree, all clear, and then equal. Now we see proper value. And let's change it to decimal, math in, decimal out. And we can enter something like this, square root of 2, and with the arrow go to the right, plus square root of 2, and then go to the outside, have a space here, and then alpha I. Now press equal, you will see it real, because this is an exact value, so 45 degrees to 45. To show the decimal value, press again format and decimal. Because this was already decimal, you saw the decimal. And if you want to see it rectangular, press again settings, complex, result, rectangular, all clear, press equal, you will see it like this. Now let's see how we can get conjugate of 8 plus 5i. This is just a number that I chose for this. We are in degree. So here, press all clear, press catalog, and then complex, come down until you see conjugate, press OK. Now we see conjugate, and then enter 8 plus 5i, 8 plus 5 alpha I, close it and press equal. That is a conjugate. So the only thing that changed was the sign, which was plus, it became minus. Now let's see the argument. The argument of this real and imaginary value is an angle. So all clear, catalog, complex, argument, 8 plus 5 alpha I, close it and equal, and that's the angle that we got in terms of degree. And if you want to get real part of this, all clear, press this catalog, complex, go until you see real part and enter your equation, our term 8 plus 5 alpha I, close it. It will give you the real, so it discards the imaginary. And if you want imaginary, the same way, all clear, catalog, complex, imaginary part, and then enter the value 8 plus 5 alpha I, and let's press it. It will give you the imaginary as a number. So if you want real part of, for example, 9 angle 36, you do the same way. You can just enter it the same way. Let's say real part, complex, real part of 9, and then we want to enter angle, catalog, complex, angle, and that is 36. Close it. If I press it, automatically it will convert it to you. It will convert it and will give you the real. The same way, if I go to complex and then imaginary, 936, 9, and then angle, catalog, complex, angle 36. If I press it, it will give you the imaginary value. Now, how we can convert 9 angle 36 to rectangular? Press this button here, 9 catalog, complex, angle 36. If you are already in rectangular mode, if I press it, it will be converted. If it is not, you can press this format here, and then from here you can see polar coordinate, and it will give you back polar. Now, because we are in polar, if I press format, you see rectangular coordinate, it will give you in that format. And the same way, 7 plus 8i, let me press all clear, 7 plus 8 alpha I, and you want to convert it to that format. If I press equal, it is like that, but press format and then polar coordinate, it will give you 11 and then 45. That's the magnitude, that is a 45. To do binary, decimal, hexadecimal, and octal conversion and calculation. First, let's reset our calculator. So we have the same settings, calculator, reset, initialize, yes, and all OK or exe. Now we can convert binary, decimal, hexadecimal, and octal one to the other, and you cannot convert 1.5 to binary. So decimal value, we can do and, or, XOR, and XNOR, not and negate of some values. We can do adding, subtracting, multiplying of x, and more. Range of data that this calculator can do is 32 bits, which means x is positive, 32 zeros on this side, and 0 and 31 ones on this side. And for the negative, the same way for the binary, it is between this value that you see. And for octal, it's also 32 bits, so x is greater than 1, and there's 10 sevens here. And for octal negative, this is the value, and the range of data is 32 bits. For decimal, you can get from minus this number to positive of this number. And for hexadecimal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros, up to 7 numbers on this side, which is 7, and then F. And the range is also for the negative 8 and then 7 zeros, and positive is all 8F. If you get math error, it means the value is outside the range. Now, how to bring letters? We can press alpha and 4 for A. So here, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, and all of these can be pressed with shift. If I press shift and 5, it will be B, shift and 6, it will be C. Let's press home, and then base N, go to the right, come down until you see base N, press OK. and by default automatically it goes to decimal, and it says press format to change the format. This is a format button and this is equal sign, so every time I press, I say equal or execute, this is the button and the format is here. Let's go to binary mode, press this format, and every time I press it, it changes. So now we are in binary mode, and let's enter 1100, 1100, and then press equal. So this is our binary value. The value was there because we can have 32 bits. The value is on the least significant digit here on the right side. Now let's add this because we are in binary mode. Pay attention to this. 1, this 2 means base 2, or binary plus 1, that's also 2. So this is not 11, this is 1 binary. Let's do 1 plus 1 and then equal. As you can see, it has been added and the result is here. Because this is 3 and this is 1, the result is 4 here. And if I press all clear, 5 plus 3, you get error because the syntax error. When you are in binary mode, you are not allowed to enter 5 and 3. So we can press OK to go back. Now we can delete it or press all clear, and let's press format to go to hexadecimal. Now we are in hexadecimal mode. Let's enter 1f plus cb. So this 16 means hexadecimal. Hex means 6, decimal means 10. So hexadecimal 10 6. So 1f, I'm pressing 1 and then shift 3 for f, plus cb, shift 6, and then shift 5. And if I press exe, my value is displayed because we are in hexadecimal mode. Now to change to decimal, just press this button and then until you see decimal, and the value has been converted to 234. So this is hexadecimal and we received that. Now let's enter these values. We are in decimal mode. We want to enter 5 base 8 or octal, and that is base 16 or hex. This is base 10 or decimal, and this is base 2 or binary. Now to enter this, I'm pressing all clear. Even though I'm in decimal mode, don't worry, press this catalog and then base prefix, come down and then select octal. You see oct. After that we can enter 5 plus and OK. Khudaya. We have it octal 5, and then for this value let's select base prefix, go there and select hexadecimal, and then f plus, I'm pressing shift 6, that's f, and then plus. Now for this we go to base prefix and then decimal and then 19 plus. Now this is the last one, base prefix. Go to base prefix and then select binary and then 10 and then, because this means now 5 hex and then 5 octal, f hex, and then 19 decimal and 10 binary, and press equal. The answer is whatever you have, because this is decimal, we are getting it in decimal. If I press format, we are getting hexadecimal, that's the value, that's 29, and binary is 1011 1011. And if I press it again, octal is 51, the result of this calculation. Now In binary mode, we are in binary. Let me press it. So we are in binary, all clear, and let's convert this to decimal. 10110. To convert it, press exe. Now let's convert 231 decimal to binary. So we are in decimal, all clear, 231, and then we have to press exe. Until the number that you entered is not here, you cannot convert it. So make sure you press the button so it is here, and then press format, hexadecimal, and binary. That's the binary value. Now let's do some logic calculation. When you see AND gate, AND means A and B must be true to get the Q equal true. Now for this will be a bitwise calculation, meaning that the first bit will be compared with first bit. So A and B, these two are 1, the output is 1. And then 0 and 1, both of these are not 1, output will be 0. And then 1 and 0 will be 0. So we will get 0, 0, 1, the answer. Now to do that, let's press all clear, 101, and then press the catalog, logic operation, and then select AND. We have now AND, and now enter 011, 011, and then press equal, and the answer is 001 or 1, as I explained it. Now we are in hex mode. Now we want to, let's go to hex. I'm pressing format, hex, all clear, 2A, 2 alpha A. Let's press catalog, catalog, logic operation, and BC, alpha B, and then alpha C, and then press equal. It has been converted to decimal. If you want to get it in terms of any other value, binary, hex, so that's the value. Now let's see OR. OR means A or B should be 1, so we can get 1, and we can do it like this, all clear, 110, and then catalog, logic operation, come to OR, and then the next value 110, press equal, and the answer is 110. For logic operation, we must be in binary mode, otherwise you will not get the proper answer. 101, and then catalog, logic operation, X NOR, and then 010, 010, and then press equal, and that's the answer. Everything it's X NOR. Look, now let's see what else we have. We have hex value, and if you need A, B, C, and D, and if you cannot find them here, you can bring A or B from there, and then base prefix, we just saw it. Now let's start working with matrix. This calculator can perform a matrix of size 4 by 4, and when you start working with matrix, we have to save it in the calculator before doing operation on them. For example, we can save this matrix in a matrix called matrix A. Let's go to the matrix mode, press home, you will see this screen. Scroll down and until you see matrix, press OK. Now we are in matrix mode, and press tool. You see it says none. None of these are now defined, and we can define 4 matrix, matrix A, B, C, and D. They can be saved, and then the operation can be performed after the matrix is saved. Now we have to select matrix A, and then the row and column are like this. So this is column, and these are row. You count it from the left down, and to select that we can press OK, and row is 3, and then now I'm in column 3, and then OK. Now we have the space empty for us. Now for our matrix, press 7 exe. This is exe or equal, and then 4, 5. So I'm entering it 7 exe, press this OK, 4, and then 5. Now I'm going to do 2, 3, 2, 3, and then 0, and then 819, 819. So I'm entering all these. The matrix have been saved. Now press OK here to exit, or we can press return, or we can press all clear, AC. The matrix have been saved. Now let's save this into matrix B. To do that, we have to press this tool. As you can see now, it shows 3 by 3. Let's select matrix B, and then the same way row 3, and then column 3, and then confirm. We have the spot here. At any step, press AC all clear to exit from the operation. Now let's save this into matrix B, -1, 526, and I'm going down 314, 9, 314, 9, and then 048, 04 and 8. I've entered them and press EXE to exit. Now press tool, and as you can see, this is 3 by 3, 3 by 3, and then there is none. Now to view the matrix, we can press, so I'm pressing this button to exit, press this catalog, and then select matrix, and then you can see, if you want to see matrix A, just come to matrix A, and you have it here. If I press equal, it will be displayed. But let's go back, and here we can multiply it by 2 as well. Just multiply by 2, and this is the result. The actual matrix has not changed. I can press back, delete it, and you see that that's the actual matrix. Now to edit a matrix, let me press AC all clear, press tools, and matrix A 3 by 3, and here you can see edit. If I press edit, we can go and change the value. For example, make 4 to 5, make it 5, and then press EXE. Now it has been saved and all clear. Now let's add matrix A to matrix B. For that, let's bring matrix A, catalog, matrix, matrix A, and then plus, catalog, matrix, matrix B. If I press equal, that is the matrix answer. Now it's in matrix answer, and then all clear. To see matrix answer, we press this catalog, matrix, and then go down. Matrix answer is there. Okay, you can bring it on the screen, or you can see it. You can save this to matrix into matrix D, for example. In this case, just select this and then store to matrix D. Okay, and this is now in matrix D. All clear. If I check this, you see matrix D has some value. Keep in mind that when you are adding matrix or subtracting, the dimension of the matrix must match. For example, this is 3 by 3, 3 by 3. If one is 2 by 3 or 3 by 4, it will not work. All clear. Now let's do matrix A, square of matrix A. So to do that, press catalog, matrix, and then A. After that, we can just press this square to square it very easily, and matrix have been squared. But I can go back and delete it, and we can do it. And second method is matrix A. You bring matrix A, and after that press catalog, matrix, and then go matrix calculation, and here matrix squared. It brings it. It's a little longer, but because other options are available there, we can do it. Now we can do matrix cubed. The same way, if I go back, delete, catalog, matrix, matrix calculation, cubed. And this way we can cube a matrix as well. And for each value, you can move the cursor back and forth and see the actual value here. If it's fraction, you can see it as well, which I'm going to show you. Now let's see how we can find inverse of a matrix. For inverse of a matrix, you have to do all this calculation, and including the determinant of the matrix before we can find the inverse of the matrix. Bring the matrix, catalog, matrix, matrix A. Now we can do here by shift and this button, it brings the inverse very easily. We can just press equal, and that is the inverse of a matrix for each value. We can see it in here. If you want the decimal value, just press format, this button here, format, and select decimal. It will be converted to decimal. But we can do it other way, by other ways that bring the matrix, matrix A, and then go to catalog, this operation here, catalog, matrix, matrix calculation, and inverse of a matrix. This was long, but doable if you need it. Keep in mind that if the determinant of a matrix is 0, you cannot find the inverse of it. And let's see how we can find the determinant of a matrix. Catalog, matrix, matrix calculation, and here determinant, and it says DET, determinant, and bring the matrix, catalog, matrix, and matrix A, and press equal. You get the answer. And remember that determinant of a matrix is a number. Now let's see how we can do transposition or transposing a matrix. Press catalog, matrix, matrix calculations, and then go down until you see transposition, and then bring your matrix here, catalog, matrix, and then matrix A. Now matrix A have been transposed. All the row have been switched to column, column to row. Now you can generate identity matrix very easily if you need it, because in many applications you need to generate, multiply or do some calculation with the identity matrix, catalog, and then matrix, matrix calculation, go down and you will see identity, and it will ask you for the dimension. Because identity matrix is squared, so you just need one value, either 2 by 2, 3 by 3, or 4 by 4. Let's put 4 and equal, and you see we have generated identity matrix of 4 by 4. Diagonal is all 1. Now if you want to get absolute value of a matrix, all clear. To get absolute value of a matrix, press catalog, go to numeric calc, this time not the matrix, numeric calc, and then absolute value, and then catalog, matrix, and let's say matrix B, and press equal, and that is the absolute value. If there was any negative, it has been converted to positive. Now matrix answer, we can use matrix A plus matrix answer. This is matrix answer, so bring matrix A plus catalog, matrix, and then go down until you see matrix answer. This is how you do some calculation with matrix answer. Now let's see how we can do vector calculation with this calculator. First, we have to reset it if your calculator has different settings. So settings, reset, initialize, and yes, and then execute. So let's go to the vector app, press home, down, down, and then one more down. Vector is on the right of matrix. Now we are in vector. We can do 2-dimension vector calculation, or 3. In 2 dimension we have x and y, and here we have x, y, and z. And to do the calculation, we can store up to 4 matrix in vector A, 4 vector in vector A, B, C, and D, and called VCT, vector A, B, and C, and D. Let's store 1 and 2, 1, 2 in vector A. Press the tool. You see there is nothing. A is selected, and then from here select dimension, press it, and then we can have 2 because our is 2 dimension, and then confirm. Now we have the space. Here we can enter 1 and then OK. It goes down 2 and OK. If I press all clear, we exit it. We can exit with OK with this back, or all clear AC. Now let's store 3 and 4 in vector B, tools. Now we see we have 2 dimension in A, and B is empty, none. Now select the dimension and then confirm. Now we have the spot, 3, OK, and then 4, OK. After pressing OK, you can press all clear. Now let's add vector A to vector B, catalog, vector, and vector A, plus catalog, vector, and then bring vector B, and then press equal. That is the addition of vector A to vector B. Now vector answer also is available. I press all clear, catalog, vector, and then scroll down. After D there is vector answer. If I press it, my last vector is called as vector answer. It is stored and will be available. At any step of operation, you can press all clear to exit from that screen. Now to edit vector A, press this tool, vector A, and select edit. And here you can just change it, for example 1 to 9, and press it and exit. Now let's do a dot product of matrix A and B. To do dot product, let's bring the matrix, catalog, vector, vector A, and after that catalog, vector, and then this time vector calculation. And you see dot product is selected. We see the dot now. Now let's bring our vector B, and vector B, and press equal, and that's the dot product. It's always a number. Now let's see how we can do cross product. All clear. Cross product of if you want to find cross product, the dimension must be matching 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. So cross catalog, vector, vector A, and then after that press catalog, vector, catalog, vector calculation, and this time select cross product, and then catalog, vector, and vector B. We got the answer 0, 0, 3. Now when you do the cross product, the length of the matrix is increased by 1. So we have 0, 0, 3. Now let's see if we could do it other way. I'm just deleting it and just putting this multiplication sign. And you see it worked. So cross product, you just multiply them and it will work. Now the angle between the two vectors, I'm pressing all clear. Let's say you have vector A and vector B. You want to find the angle between them. That's very easy. Press catalog, vector, and then vector calculation. Select angle, and then select vector A, catalog, vector, and vector A. After that, we want to bring the comma and vector B. So press alpha, and then this closing will bring the comma. Now bring the vector B, catalog, vector, and then vector B. We can close it, or without closing, just press equal, and that is the angle between the two vectors. This angle depends on the setting. If it is radian, you will get radian. Because this is degree, we are getting 40.6 degree. Now let's do how we can normalize vector B. All clear, vector, and then vector calculation, unit vector, and then bring vector B, for example, catalog, vector, and then vector B, press equal, and that is a normalized or unit vector that we have. If you want to get absolute value of the vector, which is the magnitude of the vector, so here all clear, press catalog, vector, press catalog, numeric calc, and then select absolute value. After that, bring the matrix, catalog, vector, and then vector A, equal, and that is the magnitude or absolute value of the vector. So this was majority of operation of vector in this calculator. Now let's see how we can do ratio calculation with this calculator. This ratio operation will allow you to determine x in the format of a with respect to b, or a to b equals x to d. In this case we want to find d, or in the other format will be a to b is equal c with respect to x. So x is moved between these two sides, so we can find the ratio. I got this good example. Let's say that TV or computer monitors are now 16:9, except a very wide screen size, but TVs are 16:9 now, and 16 is the width and 9 is the height. This is just a ratio. It can be inch, meter, whatever value you want, foot. It can be the same ratio. And older TV or monitors were 4:3, so 4:3. So that is I want you to understand. You want to find a photo that fits on 16:9 TV. If the width, you have only the width. If the width is 3200, what should be the height? Because I have seen people are putting photos on screen and it's not fitting. So if you understand this, you can fit the photo properly. So in this case, 16:9, we have 3200 and we want to find x here. Now press home, and then ratio is just on the right side of the vector, and here we see this screen, and then we select C because the width is there, we just need the height. So let's go down in this case, and we got this screen, and TV is 16:9. So first, now let's enter the value, first 16, and then OK or EXE. After that 9, and then OK, and then we have to enter 3200 and then OK. And after that we press OK or EXE again. I'm pressing it, and it says X is 1800. So what it means is the image should be 3200 by 1800 pixels, so it can fit perfectly. If you want to change the format to decimal, just press format. If the number you're getting is fraction or something, format, and the decimal, it will change it for you. If you want to make another calculation, just press it and put the ratio with different numbers, and it will be calculated for you. To go back at any moment, change it, the type, you can come here. Now at any moment, if you want to save this into memory, let's say to memory B, just press this button and then go to B, press OK, and it says store. This 1800 is stored in X. All clear. If I press this button, it shows that all memories are empty except B, which we have stored. Now let's see how we can use the MathBox app of this calculator. So the MathBox app has dice roll and coin toss. Two options are available. 100 rolls of 2 dice. Let's go to home and then come down and you see MathBox. Press OK. And here we see roll, dice roll and coin roll. And let's say dice roll, OK. And you will see this screen. And let's set the dice, the number of dice, 2. And then number of attempts, how many times, 100. You can enter 1 to 250. I'm entering 100, OK. And then same result, we did not see it here, and now with same result. I'm going to talk about the same result later. Go down and you see now it's rolling 100 of them. And now in this screen, you result type list or relative frequency. Let's select list, and here is our value. So this is one dice, another one, so 2 dice. The first one is A, the second one is 6, and this is now sum. 3 plus 6 is 9, as you can see here. And then this is difference between them. 6 and 3, that's 3. 5 and minus 3 is 2, so that's why this is the difference between them. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4. I can press this page to go from 5 to 8, and then 9 to 12, and up to 100 rows have been calculated, so you can see and play with them. If you want to change the relative frequency, go back and on relative frequency you can select sum or difference, select sum, and now sum, frequency, and then relative frequency is displayed. So number of attempts shows 100, and this value always shown here. If you go up left and right or any other spot, it will show. Keep in mind that when you say same result is useful if you have a class and there are 20 or 30 calculators. If you want everyone to get the same answer, the same result, use the same in your calculator in the result, so all the calculator will get the same result. 5 roll of 1 dice. So let's select tool, go back and go back. In this screen, press it, so we select 1 and then number of attempts, let's type 5 and then confirm, and same result is off because we said this is used for class or 2 or 3 calculators should be the same to get the same answer. You set it, otherwise just come here and execute, and from the list let's select list, and this is the answer for 1 die up to 5 times it has been rolled. 20 toss of 3 coins. So go back and go back, and now you see here coin selected, and then select 3. We want 3 coin, and number of attempts 20. Oh, confirm, and then the same is off because we are not in the class, and then go down and execute. Now the result is the same, list. Now this one shows head and tail with black and circle, filled and not filled, so you can see them all here. Up to 20. I just scrolled, you can go up very quickly. Now let's see how we can use constants that are available within this calculator. This calculator has 47 built-in scientific constants based on Codata 2018. To access them, we press home and then go to calculate with OK or equal. Then to access them, we press catalog and then go down to the next page, scientific constant, and then universal. For example, C0 is speed of light. If I press equal, that's the speed of light. You can bring it on the screen or go with the arrow, and then let's say you want to multiply it by 2 or something, so do your calculation. And then let's go to scientific constant and electromagnetics, go down, and then here electromagnetics. These are all the values that are needed for that. And then we have atomic and nuclear, all clear. Scientific constant, you see atomic and nuclear, all these mass of electron, neutron, and a lot of other constants that are needed. Then physicochemistry, all clear. We have physicochemistry values here that are all available here, all clear. and then adapted values, I'm going down, adapted values, so atmospheric pressure, and then other. If I press this, go down, scientific constant, and then down, you see other, and that is absolute temperature, that is 273.15. They can be used in your calculation. Let's see how we can do unit conversion with this calculator. First, let's change the settings. Go to settings, calculator settings, input output. Make sure you're in math and decimal. If not, select it and press all clear. We can convert one to the other one. Special publication 811 from 2008. For example, if you want to convert 5 centimeter to inch, type 5 and then this catalog and then unit conversion. You don't see unit conversion, go to the next page, unit conversion, and length, because that is length, and then select centimeter to inch. Now we see centimeter, 5 was already there, 5 centimeter to inch. Press equal, that's the answer. Now if you want to get it in terms of decimal, I forgot mention, go decimal, all clear. Now let's type 5, catalog, go down, unit conversion, length, and then centimeter. If I press equal, that is converted to me. And also you can do directly converted during calculation. For example, you have kilometer per hour, but you want to use it as meter per second in your calculation. For example, how far a car moves in 5 seconds if the speed is 100 kilometer per hour. So the speed is speed meter per second times speed per second, because if you cancel meter, and also you can do directly converted during calculation. For example, you have kilometer per hour, but you want to use it as meter per second in your calculation. For example, how far a car moves in 5 seconds if the speed is 100 kilometer per hour. So the speed is speed meter per second times speed per second, because if you cancel meter, you get the speed. So speed is 100 kilometer per hour and time is 5 seconds in this case. So type all clear, 100, catalog, go down, unit conversion, and then select velocity. And in this case, kilometer per hour to meter per second is the first one. Select it, automatically everything is ready. Just press equal sign, and that's the meter per second, 27.7 meter per second. Now this is another example, 120 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. So let's do 120, catalog, go down with a page, unit conversion, and then go down, temperature, and here Fahrenheit and Celsius. So that's Fahrenheit to Celsius, converted 48. Let's say you want to convert 3 atmospheric pressure to Pascal. So all clear, 3, unit conversion, and then go down, unit conversion, go down, pressure, and here we can see that atmospheric pressure to Pascal is the first one. I'm pressing an equal, so we got the converted value. Now here are all the conversion that you can see in terms of length. These are the conversion in terms of area. For area, you can get meter square and meters acre to meter, volume, energy. Now let's see how we can replace the battery. For replacing battery for fx-570 and fx-991CW, when you see this sign, you need to replace the battery. For 570, we will replace it with AAA battery, but for 991CW, we will have RL44. And for 570, we have 6 screws you have to open and replace the battery, but for 991CW, we have only 1 screw. And here, so you can open that. And that's the battery. Get a flat screwdriver from here. You can remove the battery like that, and as you can see, because this is now there is light, it's working. If I cover this, it will turn off fully. To insert the battery back, make sure that inserted like that from this side, and this goes first, and then put the screw and tighten it. So if you get on your screen math error, the range is exceeded, or illegal key have been pressed, like divided by. If you get stack error, that's a capacity of a stack or capacity of matrix or vector have been exceeded from the amount that you're supposed to enter. If you see syntax error, you have not respected the format of writing. If you get argument error, formatting of writing like sign, and then you did not enter a value or properly not close and open it. If you get the dimension error, it's usually related to matrix or vector. If you get variable error, it's related to solve only. If you see cannot solve, it's also related to solve only. And if you get range error in table mode, or it's in spreadsheet, that is the range. And then timeout is that the differential or integration related error when the system cannot solve it. If you see circular error, it means the spreadsheet mode. For example, if you reference A1 into A1, if you type in A1 equal A1, you get circular error. If there is memory error, it's spreadsheet mode runs out of memory. And here is a technical information. So number of digits that fits on the screen is 16 digit, but you can type as many as you want. And the calculation range is 0 or plus minus 1 times 10 to the power minus 99 to this number here. And precision is plus minus 1 at 10 digit for single calculation. And precision for exponential display is plus minus 1 at the least significant digit. And here are all the specifications. For 570, the battery is AAA or R03. And approximate battery life is 2 years if you use it 1 hour per day. The power consumption is around 800 microwatts. And operating temperature is up to 40 degrees Celsius or 104. For 991CW, the battery is RL44, 2 years, the same temperature from 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. This was a package that I received. Depending on the region that you are buying it, the package might be different. So let's open it. 6-month warranty, extended warranty. So very short, small page, no manual. And here is the calculator. So we're opening it from the top like that, and then just nothing else here. This is the calculator. Wow.